Dawn Neufeld is a former NFL wife, mother, and attorney who has been touched by her special needs son. She shows a tremendous amount of grace, love, and passion for her family. I'm excited about this moment we have to share, and you sharing your story with me, and we're just getting to talk and open up about your journey and where you've evolved to, where you've come from. Who is Dawn Neufeld?
Well, a journey it's been. Born and raised in California, Los Angeles. My dad died when I was 9. He had a massive heart attack at the age of 43. Growing up in a single-parent household, latchkey kids, that was back in the day when we still did that because it was safe enough to do so. Both my parents were educators, though. Education was always important. Went to UCLA undergrad, ended up going to UC Davis for law school.
Okay.
Met my husband in college. We've been married going on 11 years now. He's had a 7-year career in the NFL, so he's retired, and we're starting a new chapter in our lives. So Dawn Neufeld has got a lot going on, and it's been a long journey.
How would you describe who you are as a wife and what your journey has been like being involved in the NFL, being involved in the football arena?
Well, I've always said that what my husband does certainly doesn't define who I am. It's a part of who I am, but it doesn't define me. He left to go play his first year in the NFL, and I went to law school. Graduated from my school in 2002, took the bar and started practicing. And when he ended up playing in Buffalo, realizing that we had been away for the first couple of years of our marriage, I decided to sort of bite the bullet and move to Buffalo. And that happens a lot with wives who marry professional athletes. They have to put their dreams, their aspirations, their goals on hold to support their husband. So I did. We lived in Buffalo for 5 years. We had 2 children. I didn't have to work during that time. I was very blessed and excited to be able to do so, because I don't think there's any other job that's more important than being a good mom.
I agree with you.
Definitely.
I agree with you. How do you balance all that? I mean, it is a lot to put your dreams on hold to help someone else fulfill their dream, as well as being a wife and a mother.
Well, it was tough at times. You have to deal with the reality. I mean, I knew that when I was ready to get back into the practice of law, it was going to be difficult. I was going to have, several years worth of space where I didn't work, a big old gap on my resume, and competing with kids just coming out of law school, 25 years old, no kids who could stay at work till 9, 10 o'clock at night. So I knew it was going to be a struggle. But the thing about me that may be different than other people is that I like a challenge. It's what motivates me to make sure I get it done.
What has been one of your greatest challenges thus far?
Probably having a special needs child. My son Will, he's 7, he has autism. I realized pretty young that there was something going on. I had him evaluated when he was 18 months old. I told his pediatrician, I think you need to order an evaluation, there's something up. By the time he was 19 months old, he was in speech therapy, occupational therapy, physical therapy, and we received a non-medical diagnosis around the age of 3. And it's constantly a challenge. Going to the grocery store, going to a restaurant, sitting on an airplane, because people might just assume that your kid's just bad, when in fact, no, he can't process things like the rest of us. It is a disability. But I'll tell you this much, boy, that kid has taught me so much in life. You learn to appreciate the small things. A smile, I mean, don't get me crying. So what I've learned through him is to appreciate the small things and to have hope. It gets better. I mean, if I had looked back 4 years ago, seeing where we are today, thinking, where am I going? What's gonna happen? What is this kid gonna be able to accomplish? I mean, there's hope. It gets better. And this kid reminds me every single day about what's important in life.
Now, here you are, you have a child that has autism. You also have a husband who has gone through some challenges with being in the NFL, concussions. That has to take a toll on the family. How do you get over that?
God. I think, I'm not kidding. I wish I could say that in some other terms that isn't so definite, but God. I mean, even in my deepest, darkest moments, it just takes a prayer or hearing the right song and helps me refocus. It has been tough. It's been very difficult. We constantly have challenges with Will. And then, of course, with Ryan, having spent so many years playing football, he is definitely experiencing the after effects of the sport. He did have numerous concussions. There are times I tell him things and he does not remember. You know, I had to realize as a now retired football wife that my new normal is having to write things down so he remembers, and I have to be okay with that. We extinguished a lot of our savings, trying to help him figure out where he was. It did provide a tremendous amount of stress on and it took a toll. It was very difficult. I'm happy to say we didn't become a statistic though, and the statistic's high. It's 3 years after official retirement from football, 80% of players are bankrupt and or divorced.
So your dreams, where you aspire to go, share that with me.
You know, I have so many different interests that it's hard for me to make long-term goals in each of them. I do litigation, and litigation can get really interesting. There's a little bit of a fight going on. Crazy thing is I enjoy it. But then I do some other stuff. I do some modeling, I do some acting. I love hosting, love it. I can be in front of a crowd of 10,000 people. You give me a mic and it's on. I can't tell you where I want to take it because I'm just enjoying where I'm going right now.
A lot of parents who have children who have disabilities may not have that strong faith that we need to get through those days. What advice would you give?
The best advice I can give in that situation, give yourself a moment. If you gotta go lock yourself in the bathroom and cry, go somewhere, throw some stuff, get it out. Because no one says it has to be easy and that you have to be strong all the time. It's hard. But you know what? After that moment, you pick up and you keep going because God chose you to be their parents for a reason. You could handle it. Someone else wouldn't be able to handle it the way you could. You'll be okay. Have a moment, then keep pressing on.
Because a lot of times as women, we think we have to be strong. There has to be that time when we go, I've got to get calm, I've got to let it go, I've got to cry, scream, break something, whatever it is, but we have to release it.
Let it go. What's important is you taking care of your kiddo. They need you. And it's okay if mommy has a moment. Get some perspective and keep pressing on. Tomorrow's another day. I love it. I think I've seen the quote a lot recently. You're having a bad day. You're not having a bad life. Keep going.
I sat down with LeeAnne Locken, where she shared with me her childhood story of overcoming abuse and neglect and how she has triumphed and is now a woman on a mission to encourage others. Who is LeeAnne Locken?
Wow, LeeAnne Locken has been many, many, many things in my life. Right now, LeeAnne Locken is a very happy person.
I like that.
LeeAnne Locken is very at peace with, I'm really, really at peace with who I am, where I am, what I have, and I'm set to walk wherever God wants me to go.
How did you get to this point?
Oh, that's a journey. I think very few people could have survived my childhood, and I'm just blessed that I did.
What was it, was it a trying childhood?
My childhood started with my mom being way too young to have kids. She met her high school sweetheart and wanted to marry him so bad, and he wasn't interested in getting married, and so she decided to get pregnant. Of course, marriages that are based on force they don't last. They don't last. And so they got divorced, and my mother started taking and dropping me off at my grandparents when I was a child, and that was very confusing for me. My mother would drop me off on Friday, and my mother and I would go into the bathroom, and I would say to my mother, please don't leave me here. Crying, screaming. My mom, of course, would eventually peel away and leave.
Right.
Leave me crying in my grandmother's arms, so that by the time when Sunday came around, my grandmother and I would go in the bathroom.
Oh.
And it just kept on, and finally I think it wore my grandmother out to see me hurt and to see me cry. A 3-year-old shouldn't be put through that. A 3-year-old shouldn't have to. A 3-year-old should have a mom and a dad and be normal.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And so finally I hear my grandma's voice when I say it. Margaret Gale, I'm not going in that bathroom with that little girl one more time. You go home, you get her things. She's staying here with me. And I remember I was standing next to my grandma and she was holding my hand and she squeezed my hand.
That's so sweet.
I miss her.
I understand.
She squeezed my hand. And I just thought, this is the first time in my life that I knew someone loved me. The first time I felt loved and that I felt wanted. And, you know, a part of that led to the rest of my life's journey of always not feeling